Jesus freak here. And I guess I just figured I should bring this up. A friend of mine from chat room I'm in was reading a website that compared the level of individualism versus collectivism of various different societies. And it got me thinking. America is very individualist. And that's kind of funny because the roots of America are in Christianity, and Christianity is very not individualist. You know, the one who would be the greatest should be the servant of all and all that jazz. Well, I think one of the reasons I tend to have a rather unusual, I guess, mindset has to do with, as a result of my understanding of Scripture, that my interpretation of things makes me a lot less individualistic, or I would like to hope so at least, than your average American who, isn't as versed, I guess, in Scripture, because a lot of, Americans probably never even opened the Bible. See, I live by a concept where everyone is at a certain level of authority. Certain people are going to be above you, and certain people are going to be more above you than others. And there's this concept, and you see it more in certain varieties of Christianity than others, that, if someone's in a position of authority over you, you're supposed to accept that authority. If you submit to the authority, you'll be fine. But you step out of line, and the devil's going to get you. And some of my rather unusual behavior is a matter of either trying to abide by that by itself or dealing with conflicts with two different authority figures being at different elevated levels above me. And I have to make a decision which one I think is more authoritative, who I believe is higher on the totem pole, so to speak. And yes, it does put me in a conundrum sometimes. This is probably exacerbated by the fact that, and so to speak, I'm kind of reading out of a different dictionary. A lot of people, they'll use words like need and want very flippantly. And, when I was growing up, it was like, I'd say, can I go to the bathroom? I don't know, can you? But the word isn't can. This is the kind of stuff, that anytime I'd ask a question and I ask the wrong question instead of just assuming the right question, they rules layer. And you can kind of see this in my own reactions that sometimes I'll say, I don't think that's what you really meant to ask. And kind of twist my answer into trying to answer both what they asked and what they meant to ask. But I guess if it's not obvious that I'm doing this, that it might sound strange why I'd say, hey, what do you, people would be like, what do you mean you don't need to go out for groceries for a month? Aren't you going to run out of stuff before then? Or like I say, hey, I'm down to one razor. Doesn't matter. I don't need a razor. I'm not going to die if I can't shave my face. And people think I'm weird for saying this. But that's just, my understanding of the word need is different. So I guess the thing is that, if you're using different dictionaries, you could be speaking the same language and still talk past someone else. And I'll admit my fault here. I guess I know what they intended to say by no non essential, you know, non essential gatherings or non essential trip to get groceries or whatever. Or only go out if you have to, and if you don't have to, stay home. And I interpreted that in the strictest possible light because that's what I was taught to do. You know what they say? Hey, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. I think this is a point where we're seeing become a sort of two-edged sword that I'll admit it. I'm willing to cut off my nose to spite my face if I feel that I'm running into an issue between two authorities. I'm only doing what I feel is the right thing to do. I understand some people think I'm overreacting. I think it's just that they think I'm interpreting things too strictly. Whereas to me, this is a matter of Romans 13:1, the powers that be are ordained by God, rather than a matter of, can you bend the rules to take care of yourself? And I guess, yeah, I'm going overboard. I admit it. But I guess it's that I'm reading out of a different dictionary, and because, I put what some people might consider too much emphasis on my faith and my beliefs. But I think, it's all a matter of where your grounding is, and my grounding's here. And I guess the idea is, if you're trying to be too strict, if it's a matter of the Bible, you can't be too strict. You can only be too loose. But I guess this is just a matter of my opinion being a bit that's weird as a result of my perspective being tightened up by my upbringing and by, my understanding of the Bible. Anyway, it's just my opinion, and I'm not holding anyone to my personal interpretations because I'm not in a position to do that. Jesus freak out.